I'm just going to come out and say it. This is a really hard topic to talk about, but I do. I make myself do it with every client and every horse's diet plan that I'm looking at. We talk about sources of stress. And we know that stress, our horses become stressed in a wide variety of ways, regardless of how much we love them, how much money we spend on them. um, stress it. So, my first principle, the first thing that I want you to think about before jumping into the purchase of the latest and greatest ulcer supplement, okay, and spending thousands of dollars a year on these things, I want you to think very, very seriously about being a third party auditor of your horse's daily stress. I know, I know, I know, we love them. We love them so much. We believe in our hearts there's no way that we can be contributing to our horse's stress, but trust me, it does. And it's something I'm constantly thinking about as we're talking about the management practices of the horses that I create diet plans for, because I think it's that important. There's so many sources of stress, not just their diet, but their environment, what kind of facility they're at. There's other horses around, the heat, the cold, performance, higher levels of intensity, and competition certainly will contribute to ulcers, but actually the horses that stay home and don't go to competition, we find have ulcers as well. We know that medications contribute, and lots of what I call modern day horse management is actually quite ulcer friendly, unfortunately. And what I mean by that is where we're isolating horses, we're consolidating them into small spaces, and where they don't get a lot of exercise, they don't get a lot of other playtime or touch time with other horses, and we make them quite sedentary. So, for lots and lots of reasons, our modern day horse management is quite ulcer friendly, and I really think it behooves us to get an outside opinion, not your trainer, not your friend, not the person next door, but maybe a veterinarian or a nutritionist or, consult, or maybe even a body worker, somebody who comes in from the outside and can look at the big picture. You know, is there some sort of change, or even a big change, that can help facilitate less stress, less ulcer risk in your horse? The next puzzle piece is what type of hay is best. And I know what you're thinking. I know you're hoping, your pen is poised. You are hoping I'm going to tell you there's one forage choice that you just have to buy, stack in your barn, and your horse's ulcer problems will be gone. Unfortunately, I am going to tell you the absolute opposite. All of your forage options, every single one, every single type of species of hay that you have available to you is equal in value for me. Okay? They are all equal tools in your toolbox until you put a horse in front of it. And that horse's nutrition goals decides if a forage is good or bad. Now, in the prevention of gastric ulcers, I'm saying, and I'm going to say this over and over again to try to convince you, all forages are equal because they all provide a forage mat or a fiber mat. A horse chews, it salivates. Actually, let me back up. I need to tell you what long stem forage is. I keep mentioning that phrase, but I haven't described it yet. Long stem forage is forage that you give to your horse that is at least an inch long. So that is hay, that is pasture, and that is hay cubes. Hay pellets are fully ground and do not provide fiber length. Okay? That's not pellets, fully ground up forage is not going to create this fiber mat that is ideal. This fiber mat goes into the horse's relatively small stomach and literally holds down the very acidic juices from getting up into the non-glandular region of the stomach and wreaking havoc, okay? Or at least irritating all of the, irritating any ulcers that might already be there as well. So the fiber mat is what makes long stem forage in your horse's diet important. It's this fiber mat that helps, that it is the reason that we want our horses chewing more hours every day. So this fiber mat stays on top of their digesta, on top of the digestive juices, and keeps things from splashing around. Okay, quick thought. If your horse has boomerang ulcers, the ones that come back, come back, come back, and you can't get a control of it, I do suggest changing the species of hay. Because you never know. Sometimes there's ways that the farmer is growing that hay, whether or not he puts, fertilizer on it or insecticide or conditioner, or any of those things. Regardless, there are very natural things that grow on grass plants, and every species and every region of the country kind of has its own microbiome. Plants have their own microbiome too that live on the outside and that are of the plant, and the horses are eating all this plant microbiome along with the green grass. So sometimes I suspect that a horse's digestive system is adverse to what's the plant's different carbohydrate profile, different microbiome. So a very simple thing to try is to just simply change the forage that your horse is feeding, hopefully to a more appropriate calorie dense